So while Nas is securing a multi-billion-dollar bag for his hometown, Dame Dash is busy burning bridges online. This is true. So we're gonna
in life or online,
probably both, but we're gonna explore the diverging legacies of two hip hop icons who both started as cultural visionaries. Now, I grew up on Dame, Nas. We were outside, so I know their contributions to the culture, which makes seeing their recent, actions a little fascinating. But this isn't just one guy winning and another losing. It's a case study in how to evolve past your prime in hip hop. So Nas just spearheaded a massive $5.5 billion deal for a casino project in Queens, cementing his status as a community mogul. In contrast, Dame Dash, his recent headlines have been dominated by erratic interviews and legal battles, which we've all pretty much seen
and talked about.
But does an artist's business acumen in their later years have the power to redefine their entire legacy? Because these are two legends. Say what you want.
Dame's not an artist, though.
Well, I mean, mogul's
business.
Either way, they're both legendary. Is that fair to say in their respective fields in hip hop?
I mean, for all the crazy things we said about Dame Dash, he's still very important to the culture,
especially with Roc-A-Fella.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where it stops.
I mean, but you.
petty.
No, I mean, I mean, I know Dame Dash is crazy, but
petty for that.
He's, you got to understand, Roc-A-Fella was a big deal at one point.
True.
The fact that everybody now has some sort of liquor deal or is putting out tequila. When Roc-A-Fella put out Armadale, that's the only reason I bought a bottle of Armadale is because Roc-A-Fella was Dame and Jay were next to it,
helped by the company Rachel Roy, so it was a little bit past just Roc-A-Fella.
And so when I think one of the things that, despite the fact that Dame has been on goofy time, at least in my opinion, I understand that some people still feel him when he does these things. I still have an appreciation for what he's meant to the culture. Once again, he believed in Jay-Z as an artist when no one would give him a record
So let me
deal.
ask you this, right? I want to stop you there. So how much...
That's strong, Jay, and I'll tell you why.
I'm coming to you next, Spoolz, but I want to pose this question, right? Based off what he said. How much clout, cash, points, whatever you want to cash in, how much does that hold as you continue to see someone in their older age, I guess, appear to spiral out of control? Because it always goes back to, man, he believed in Jay. That's dope. That shaped our childhood or helped shape it in terms of hip hop. But I mean, how much does that weigh when you see who someone really is in real time?
You're only good as your last hit, man. And unfortunately, Dame has had a record of a lot of flops, and I don't know his business, so to speak, like that, as far as if he's actually really broke. We kind of talked about this.
Yeah.
And he talked about how a lot of things aren't in his name, which is smart if that's the case. But I mean, when you talk about Nas has continued to advance his business acumen along with his artistry. So when you put a Nas and a Dame Dash in the same, it's kind of like Nas is taking keys or cues from Dame and exceeded Dame, while Dame is known as the guy that broke Jay-Z and did a lot of good things along that path, and even after a little bit, but that flame is kind of fizzled out essentially. So I mean, I don't know, man. It to me it's a little different. It's a little different because Nas is an artist that became a businessman versus somebody coming into the game as a businessman and somebody doing better business than you now. You know what I'm saying? After being in the game for so long.
Talk to me, Spoolz.
I think Dame Dash is exactly who he's always. He's an asshole, man, and he's always
told you that.
He's always been an asshole, and as people, you can choose to look past that and say, oh, it's great that he's done this or done that, but at the core person, you're seeing him as I think him as a genuine person right now, with the floundering and
who he really is.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. They say when shit gets hard, you know what I mean? You start, the real person comes out, man. And I think he's always. We're talking about a guy who still says pause after things. He's 50 some years old, isn't he? Grow up, dude. What is the it's unfortunate sometimes to me, and maybe I just don't understand, and I can accept that. But like to say that Dame is so respected in hip hop, is he? Is he really?
Historically,
like, what has he?
Historically,
like, again, never wrote shit, never contributed anything musically. I understand the business side, and like I just think it's a stretch to be like, he was the only one who believed in Jay-Z was making music before he ever met Dame Dash. And what Dame Dash is a good cheerleader. He's the guy that's going to jump up on a table and be a prick in an office building with someone to try to get a little bit more, to just try to get a little bit more or a little bit more. And we'll always look at you as you're trying to keep him down and you're trying to him. It's annoying.
You sound like Cartman when you say trying to me.
It's just wow. It's just. I mean, did you guys ever watch the behind the scene? They did the what was the tour?
Last Days of
No,
you're
no,
talking
you're
about,
talking
was it
about
Hard Knock Life?
Hard Knock,
Yeah.
because now it pops up in my algorithm. You're talking about when he screamed on Kevin Lyles about
He's
the
a
Def Jam jacket.
jerk, dude.
Yeah, but you know what? He was right in that instance.
Yeah, he was right. That's the thing about
But
Dame.
no, you get to choose how you behave, man. You can pull Kevin Lyles
Yeah.
aside and say something different. He did that for the fucking
he
cameras,
knew
dude.
the cameras were
Yeah.
on when he
And
did
also, he's also that he seems to be that kind of guy.
It's the gift and the curse because I mean it helped Jay because Jay was touring with Big Daddy Kane back in the day.
Yeah.
As a solo act, and he wasn't able to broker him a deal. And Kane has actually said that he's glad that a deal didn't happen at that point in time because of the artist he was able to become by getting a deal later.
Yep.
So I do give him peas for that as far as being the loud person that would stand on the table. But again, it's a gift and a curse, and it came back to bite him in his ass because he's apologizing to a lot of these people.
And that's
now.
kind of what I'm getting at. And maybe like Dame seems to have, I'm not trying to shit on him like totally as a human. He's just not someone I would want to talk to, you know what I mean? Or like be around. He just seems like a I'm sure he's great. I mean, he has kids. I'm sure he's a great man. I'm not trying to
based upon everybody that I've known that's talked to him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't know the man at the end of the day. Just what he presents and what he's put out isn't the type of person that I would like want to do business with, who's such a mogul, and he's been a mogul for so long, and that's what he's supposed to be known for in hip hop. Like, I wouldn't want to do business with Dame.
He hustles for his last name, man.
You know what I mean? Like, and guys, Stacey Dash put him in business. I'm sorry, she did. You know what I mean?
Both
No, I
of
wouldn't
them
say
were.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, she funded it.
Nah,
She
no,
funded him.
because also
I
he
think Spoolz is right.
because also like
Look
there was,
that up, bro.
Also there was this, if you know what cousin Darian Dash DME, there's a spirit of hustling in that family. But
Yeah.
I will say
I think
this:
his dad was like thorough from what I've heard.
no, because like really it was really him. His mom was one who put him in like boarding school, and so
There was some street economics.
yeah.
involved in
I
that
mean,
situation,
he'll
too.
tell you that.
But I think one thing that is
Something with the basketball games back in the day, and they used to make
Oh,
shirts
yeah.
and shit like that. I mean, like he's been around. I'm not trying to like take
Yeah.
everything away from him, but like, no, Stacey Dash definitely her money helped put him into business.
Stacey
man.
Dash wasn't
there's
large
no, there's
like
no
that.
doubt about it. But she
Stacey
made a
Dash-
lot of money, man.
AI says no.
Yeah,
But
AI
Stacey
says
Dash.
who
no?
knows? It says
Stacey
Stacey
Dash-
Dad did not fund Dame Dash. That's what it says.
You
Okay.
gotta understand,
I
like
will-
Stacey
I stand
Dash.
corrected.
I don't know
no
if it's
doubt.
true or not.
Yeah.
Stacey,
I thought
shout
it
out to
was-
Stacey. Well, not really shout out to Stacey Dash because she was on some goofy time. But she was in
Runs in the family.
a Richard Pryor movie, and she was on the Cosby Show. Like she
Clueless
was,
did pretty big.
she was what Clueless? That
Yeah.
was 95 though.
That's
One hit movie where she was not at the top
you
of the.
just told me I was wrong at the end of the day. You guys,
Yeah,
you can continue to like. I don't like Dame's the man. You know, what I mean, he's great because he made a vodka and because he jumped up on a table.
No,
Like, I
that's
just,
not what we're saying.
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no, no.
It's just weird to me that we praise this guy who's now is clearly like seems to be showing himself for who he is, man.
So-
Like burned all bridges.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them at least. Like not respected at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know.
So
man.
here's-
But
here-
again, I stand corrected about the Stacey Dash thing, and
It could be wrong though. I don't know.
he could be a great dude who just is getting a bad rap, but from what I've seen and what he's
Nah.
presented, he doesn't seem
This is where I'll
like
play
a great dude.
white devil's advocate, like I tend to do sometimes. Just Tuesday is my day to just kind of take in some information and see what's going on whatever platforms. And they interviewed Chris Gotti on the
Breakfast Club.
today.
Saw some of that.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, Chris Gotti is the brother of Irv Gotti of Murder Inc. And the thing is, he was really kind of the Slim to the baby, if you will. He was really
Yeah.
the guy behind the scenes. There's a couple levels to what I thought when I watched this interview. They really talked to him about the business and what he did in the record industry, and it wasn't this whole back and forth, and it wasn't the same thing with Dame. There was a level of respect there, and there was some really great information. But it is also the fact that Dame basically came up and in his own way insulted everybody on the Breakfast Club. So
he led with that.
Yeah, he led with that. So the difference between seeing, I'm not saying anything about him.
Great legend,
but like I'm saying, like the difference between seeing Chris Gotti, and this was all at around the same time when it was Murder Inc. and Roc-A-Fella.
Yeah,
the difference between that interview and the interview with Dame Dash is light years away, because they talked about personal things. They talked about the business. They talked about why this happened, why that happened. And, they were able to go through these stories of, talking about that era in hip hop. And I think it's just because the difference is Dame Dash, for whatever chip he has on his shoulder, exacerbates things to the point where it devolves into calling Charlamagne gay, calling Dame Dash going back calling broke. Like I said, I think there are things that Dame Dash has done, despite the, what I've talked about as his accomplishments, the where he has really dug himself into and fought himself into a corner that makes him look foolish.
Let me add one thing just to make it more positive, not to just shit on this man or whatever.
You don't have to.
I mean, like, this is your opinion.
I want to talk about what Nas did. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was going to get to. Like, what Nas has done, and like, to like solidify his place and the respect that he seems to get in the industry after such a long time. It's awesome, man. I don't know a ton about the casino deal, but sounds pretty massive to me. He just seems to be just aging extremely well and stepping into the, like, I'm the OG, I'm the, kind of elder statesman role, like happily stepping into it and not, and doing it without like stepping on people's toes, but also not like selling himself out. Like, you don't hear Nas like censor himself, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, but he also doesn't meddle in dumb shit either. It's true.
Nas is, that to your point, Spoolz, that's what I was going to bring up, is the fact that he has stayed himself.
Yeah.
To get to this point. And you think about Nas, his trajectory, he's the guy that picks the bad beats. He's not the Billboard sweetheart. He doesn't have all of the commercial success that some of the people that he has gone up against, we'll just say. And for him to be able to stay consistent and be himself throughout all this time, and then land something of this magnitude in the area that he's from, to me, that is an incredible story, because there are so many people that have had the boost or the exposure, but they're not doing the things that he's doing. Like when I hear him on the, I think he does a voiceover for, is it Hennessy? Does he do those commercials?
I think so.
Yeah, he has a sponsorship or something.
Okay, so little stuff like that, I'm like, that's 50-year-old plus hip-hop legendary type stuff. I never see him out embarrassing himself or trying to be 25 again.
No, that's never been Nas, though.
But I love the fact that he stayed that way and then landed this where he's from. Like, to me, that's underlying all the Dame talk. That's what's impressive.
That's what I'm saying. Is different. It's like we're comparing somebody that overcame all the odds as an artist and as a businessman, because this isn't his first business venture.
True.
This is just him advancing in business and people trusting that he knows what to do with, the position that he has. Versus when we talk about a Dame is still trying to position himself as somebody that doesn't have it anymore. And Charlamagne brought that up. He killed him. He was like, it's like you don't want to believe pretty much that what you were is gone. Mm-hmm. The only thing you value success off of is acting like you got money and things like that. He killed him. Y'all have to run that clip back as far as to see what he actually said, but that's just Dame in a nutshell at the end of the day. Yeah, he had some success and he's still chasing the success. Even when he announced that he was doing this big thing with Revolt decided to say, well, that's cap. That's not the case.
But with Nas, thing is, Nas has been quietly, because we are a hip hop podcast and we talk about the artistry, and we have talked greatly about how at least I have, about how much I enjoyed the King's Disease and the Magic series, those 6 albums and that run. But during that time, Nas has had a level of business acumen that has been very quiet with this Queensbridge Capital. You know, he's been actually, you know, living in the world of venture capitalism.
There it is.
For quite a while now. In fact, one of his big wins was Ring, if I remember correctly. You know, and there have been some things where like he is invested in to where they have turned out extremely well for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are several hip hop artists. Like I remember someone saw Chamillionaire having courtside seats, and they were like, "Oh, how many ringtones did y'all buy?" It's like, no, he's been in the venture capitalist, you know, in tech for a while. There's a lot
He's
of hip
super
hop
savvy.
artists.
Chamillionaire is,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, even we like to talk about, you know, Hammer and all the money he lost, but then Hammer got into tech on the low. You know, as far as like putting his money into those spaces. So
Good for him.
you know, and the thing is, it's been a lot of quiet money as far as hip hop, as far as people just making moves who don't need the attention, you know, not doing, you know, the Sam Rothstein thing and just jumping out. And I think that's what, you know, Jay-Z brought it up in the song Lost Ones, and that's kind of come to fruition. What Dame has done is like he can't stop being the center of attention, you know, instead of, you know, being the person, you know, moving your situation of food and beverage, you know, which is that quiet money, you know. And so like Nas has really done that over this time. While we're talking about his albums, this guy has made millions of dollars, you know, investing in companies and being a venture capitalist. And I think that is inspiring on a whole nother level,
For sure.
you know, just because it's like, look, if because the guys on what was it, Shark Tank, they didn't believe in Ring. Somehow Nas got in there before the guys on Shark Tank and has made a whole bunch of money. Because at one point Nas was struggling on his personal finances.
Yes.
You know, just because of taxes, just because of divorces, and he has quietly, you know, got himself out of that and built a real fortune for himself. And he's got a one up on Jay-Z, because Jay-Z's commercial deal that was supposed to bring casino to Manhattan was shut down. But Nas is bringing something similar as far as a casino to Queensbridge. Now, whether or not, you know, you feel like that's good or bad, your morality on gambling is, you know, that's a different conversation. But like I said, one of the things that you can really admire Nas about is he's moved quietly while building, you know, a certain level of financial stability for himself and trying to do things for his community.
I respect it.
Life is good.
And for me, man, I think the Dame thing from it's just very counter to the type of person that I am. You know what I mean? So I get that kind of personality can be very helpful when you're trying to accomplish certain things, especially in business. Like I get it. You know, it's just not me, and it's not like shocking to see now what's going on. You know what I mean? Like he says all this shit about somebody and then comes around and wants to apologize, and 50 Cent was like off, dude. You know what I mean? It was just kind of funny, like sorry, man, like you don't get to just be a prick all the time and then make shit up and literally lie. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden everyone's supposed to open up their arms. It's just, I don't know, man.